What's up, folks? It's your boy DT 2.0, and today we have another special guest in the studio. I'm bullshit. I bought another laptop. This is the ASUS ROG Republic of Gamers G14, and this is my take on it. So here it is. It's been mentioned in my videos over and over again, and I have it again, right? I bought it once, and actually this was one of the first gaming laptops I bought this year, and decided to bring it back after I got hooked on gaming, right? I'm fairly new to the game, no pun intended. So it got me hooked, and then I wanted to step it up, so I did step it up to the old reliable right here, Alienware M15, and mainly because of the design and then the power in this thing. But looking back, I said, you know what, this will be a nice computer to have, and it actually dropped down to the right price where I could actually buy it and use it, because it's quite portable for the size, and we'll talk about that in a minute. That the size is definitely more portable than the Alienware M15, which I mentioned in my other videos. It's kind of thick with a little junk in the trunk in the back because of those ports back there, where this one does not have that. So I love the way this machine is built. But let's get into the specs real quick. In this thing, it's sporting the popular, or maybe not, depending on how you follow chips, the popular AMD Ryzen 9 chip. And when I say popular, powerful, efficient, out of all of the reviews that I've read about it, it performs quite well. So this thing has the Ryzen 9, the 4000 series Ryzen 9 chip, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive, a rare 14-inch display, right? I don't see many gaming laptops with a 14-inch display, so I had my doubts about this, how it looks in the performance, but you'll see right here in the near future what my thoughts on it, right? It's 1080p, 120 hertz. So this is the first laptop that I bought that actually had the 120 hertz, and I was instantly hooked, especially after I played Madden. It looked realer than what I had on my TV looking at a real game. It has a lighted keyboard, no RGB elements, the RTX 2060 Max Q, and y'all know how I feel about Max Q, right? It's basically the 2060 Lite, but in this case, when it's paired with this Ryzen 9 chip here, it performs quite well. It performs quite well, especially for games that are CPU intensive, which are some of the games that I play. On one side, you have the power jack, HDMI, USB-C, and a headphone and mic combo jack. In the back, ain't shit but vents, but I do like the way this is designed. This actually looks like it could be an Alienware computer, the way it's designed. It does look like a little spaceship, right? I love the way the tasteful ROG branding right here, right? These dots right here, this little matrix, this is the one without the lights, but this matrix stuff right here could be questionable, especially if you get dirt in there, as I've seen on other reviewers, but still, I like it because it fills up a blank space instead of just having a solid piece of white, like on some of these other computers out there. And on the other side, vent here, lock port, you have 2 more USB-A ports, and then of course another USB-C port. And in the front, nothing. At the bottom, some vents, and then up here are 2 speakers, or 2 more speakers that are downward facing, which in my opinion sound pretty good, and we'll talk about that. But I really like the way this computer is built overall, right? Some of the things that it does not have, right? Ethernet port, and of course at the top, no camera. And I'll give y'all my thoughts on that. But this is a real nice feeling machine. It really feels well built. I just can't say enough good words about it, but of course, you know me, I got to call these companies out as they should. But in this case, that's not, there isn't many call outs. So y'all know the routine. I'm gonna give you my loves, my likes, my dislikes, and my concerns, if there are any, along with my recommendation at the end of the video. I may not talk about all specs of the laptops, but if you have specific questions, hit me up in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. I'm in the military, so I'm working from 08 to 16, or 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. For you folks that are not hip to military time, and I try to get in here after a long day of work and then knock out some of these videos, and if not, I try to fit them in on the weekend. But other than that, let's get to my loves. Love number 1, I already said it. Y'all already know the build quality. This thing is built like a rock, right? It's real solid. I have no issues with this thing, or I would have no issues traveling with this thing. It's heavy, but it's not heavy. And I said that about one of the other laptops in one of my other reviews, but in this case, I like it because it's real solid and it's small, but it still has some weight to it where if you drop it, you don't feel like it's going to break into pieces. Not Alienware, but HP Omen, the HP Omen I had, that shit felt like plastic. Anyway, I feel real comfortable throwing this in the bag, and since it's only 14 inches, it'll have a lot of space left in it. I feel comfortable that it won't get jostled around or punked by anything else in my bag or poked or prodded because it's well built. I really like the way they designed this thing. And again, right, I love the vents on the side, on each side. And I also love the vents in the back, right? And then the way the way the hinge is made in the back, where if you actually look, those vents actually show up in the front. So if I turn it to the side right here, you'll actually see the computer and the hinge raise up the computer to let air under it, right? Watch that. Wow. Come on. Come on. I was a little worried about the actual monitor, the bottom of the monitor on the table, right? Rubbing off or getting dirty. But as you can see in the back, they have like little tabs here, right? And they feel rubber. Yeah, little rubber tabs here that protects it. So that eased some of the worry out of it. But well-built computer, and I love the design of it, right? I love the design of it. So that's my love number one. Love number two, the display. Yes, it's only 1080p. And I know how some of y'all feel out there, well, what else is it going to be? Is it going to be 4K? Well, you don't waste your money on a 4K display. Man, fuck that. Hey, if you want a 4K display, get you a 4K computer. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, 4K makes no sense on a small screen, right? If your eyesight is good enough to see the difference between 1080p and 4K side by side, which I can do fairly well, get you a damn 4K. And if you want to play something at high frame rates, get yourself an external monitor. It's your money, right? It's what you want to make you happy. Go and get yourself a 4K OLED display if you want one. And that's what I did. That's what made my decision when I bought when I kept the Alienware M15 with the 4K OLED. It was my choice. It was my decision. It's my money. So I'm going to get it, right? So fuck what everybody else say about the screen is too small with 4K, because we used to say that exact same shit about 1080p years ago. So anyway, I'll jump off that horse. Yes, this display is 1080p, but because of the size, 14 inches, the pixel density is it's a little bit more dense, right? So it's a little bit or that much more crisp when you're playing games than if you're playing games on a 15.6 inch or a 17 inch display. It's not the brightest display, but it's right on par with everything else I didn't have in here. So I'm not concerned with it. Very little backlight bleed, and I know that varies from unit to unit, company to company, but this one, and I would say that goes along with the build quality, it's very little, if any, backlight bleed. Even in dark scenes when I'm playing the Rise of the Tomb Raider, it's very little backlight bleed. I have to actually look for it. I pause the game and then turn the computer side to side, turn the monitor or bend the monitor up and down to try to see if I can find something, and it's hard to find. And if it's getting to that point, there is none, right? If you don't see it, it ain't there. But it's a definite love, the display, right? I love the 120 hertz. Again, it's not 240 or it's not 300, but you know, it's what they call it, the law of the diminishing returns. Once you get over 120, unless you're a competitive first-person shooter, playing those first-person shooter games for some cash, yeah, then I will want a 300 hertz display. But this one, 120 is just fine, because there's no difference between when you're playing games on campaign mode and it's just you. You know, especially if you're playing in third person, like most of the games I play in sports games, hey, you'll love it. You'll love it. You won't notice the difference between a 240, a 300, or a 120, right? Unless you're just that anal. Anyway, love the display. Love number three, and it's simple. It's very simple. The fingerprint reader, right? It's rare that these gaming computers have any Windows Hello features, right? Even the ones that have cameras, Alienware has a camera, right? Even has a Tobii eye tracker. Easily could have implemented the eye. If you can track my eyes, I'm pretty sure you can track me logging in, but it doesn't have that, right? Fingerprint Reader. Alienware could have killed the game if they'd have put that fingerprint reader under that Alienware head and did some lighting effects with that shit. If they're listening, which I know they're not because I don't have but about two subscribers, but if they listening, if they get a hold of this video or somebody drop the fucking link in their inbox, put a damn fingerprint reader under the head. This computer did it, and it did it very well, right? And it's very responsive. Sometimes when I'm just waking it up from sleep and I just hit the on button and expect to go back and hit the on button again, it already read my fingerprint before the computer even fully powers up from sleep. So it works that well. I would say about 95% of the time it's on par, which is the same as your damn cell phone, right? Again, it works very well, and I like the way it's implemented. I like the power button separated away from the keyboard, and they make it into a fingerprint reader. All of these other computers that I had, the Dell, which is Alienware, HP, MSI, Razer, none of those had any of those features. At least the ones that I had in my studio, which is not a studio, it's actually in my apartment. They need to get their shit together and stop playing, because if not, ASUS is going to continue to kill the game, because they have a lot of laptops that I want to try and in the market right now, and there ain't many that can compete with them, right? The only reason I kept the M15 is because, one, the design, and two, the damn display, right? And I told y'all before, I like different shit. I like shit that draws attention, not to me personally, but have somebody come over and say, hey, what the fuck is that with all those lights in the back? Oh, this is my fucking Alienware spaceship, right? And then we draw a conversation off of that. This laptop, on the other hand, and you'll read in the future, or you'll hear in the future, it's very low key. It's a gaming laptop, but at the same time, the fingerprint reader, you know, the bland, and not in a bad way, colors, it's very hard to tell if this is a gaming laptop or not, unless you really know what this ROG stands for and what it looks like, right? So definite fingerprint, going back to the topic, fingerprint reader is a definite love. Love number 4, the battery life. Now, of course, it should have great battery life, right? It should have it. It's only a 14-inch 1080p display. It's not super bright. Keyboard lighting is, I'll talk about that later. You know, it has an RTX 2060 Max Q, the efficient AMD Ryzen 9 chip. It should be power efficient, and it is. And it is. But the thing that I like about this is the battery life is great, and at the same time, it's powerful, right? Of course, unplugged, it's not, just like every other gaming computer out of here. But if you want to watch videos or just surf the web, this thing will easily last 6 to 7 hours. Easily last. Right now I'm at 97%. It says 3 hours and 21 minutes, but as I start using it and as it starts realizing and recognizing how I'm using the computer, because right now I have a couple things open, that'll go up. I opened it up one day and put my mouse over it and said, oh, you have six and a half hours left to do whatever you're going to do, right? And that's not even adjusting the screen brightness, and that's not even doing or going into the ROG Armory crate and making adjustments to the power, because right now I'm on performance, right, which has, you know, efficient cooling, CPU, GPU performance is all the way at almost near max. But if I kick it all the way down to Windows just to run simple shit, right, it'll change, right, as you can see. And we'll talk about Armory crate later. But at the same time, it's very this computer again with this Ryzen 9 chip is power efficient, and it'll last you a long time. So if you want to use this for dual purpose, for school and game on the side, and you want to go to school and not have to worry about your adapter, or even looking like a gamer, this it'll fit the bill. It'll fit the bill, all right? As long as you change this background, the people won't know you're gaming. But I don't know, these days, you don't have to hide that you're a gamer, because fuck them, right? Fuck them. If people don't like who you are, you don't need to be fucking with them. Anyway, battery life is a definite love in my book. Now on to my likes, and this is a love-hate like, no pun intended, right? Because I actually love the keyboard, right? I love the feel, I love the key travel, I love the feedback, I love the layout. I like the fact that we have some shortcut keys, volume up, volume down, a mute button, and then get into that armory crate up here. I love the fact that we have status indicators up here, right? So you can see hard drive activity. That's something that's rare, right? I love the fact that it has the fingerprint reader, which is in my loves, right? I love all of that about the keyboard. So why don't I love it? And it's in the light category. They completely fucked the keyboard lighting, right? And I'm not talking about it not being RGB, because I give two shits about it being RGB, right? What I care about is the brightness of it. Now I have some lights up right now, so it's you know, so you barely see it, but if it's daytime, as you can see, some of these keys you can't even see because the keys are light and then the numbers are light and it's a white light. So really, if you're in a lighted room and the keyboard turns on, because I know some of you gamers out there like to have your keys on all the time, right? You like to show the shit off, just like my Alienware. When I open it up, you see them green keys over there. That tells you I'm ready for some shit, right? This, on the other hand, I'm embarrassed by it because it's uneven and you can't really tell it whether it's on or not, so it looks better off. Now, I can see all the letters and numbers with it off, where if I turn them on, which only has 3 levels, they disappear. So, are they useful? Yeah, but only in a dark room, right? Only in a dark room. With my Alienware M15, when I had the razor blade in here, those two, you can keep those keyboard lights on 2 feet from the sun and they still gonna show up. No bullshit, right? They're still gonna show up. This, on the other hand, I'm embarrassed by it, so I keep them off. Actually, it looks better off. I like the black letters and numbers on the silver keys. Now, if they really wanted to change the game, and I recommended this on the Alienware, is the key should have been black, right? And then had white letters and numbers and symbols on here. They would have provided great contrast, right? It could have matched the bezel around the screen, and just like I said the same thing about the Alienware, right? But at least this one is silver. On the Alienware, they're white, so I have to make sure I got hand sanitizer, my hands are clean before I type on the Alienware because those keys are going to wear down sooner or later. This one, they're silver, but the lighting is just fucked up. So that's why the keyboard is in the light category. I'm really digging it. Don't get me wrong. I love typing on it, and I love the way it's set up. It's nice and even. Again, the key travel is way better than my MacBook, because that's a shit show. But at the same time, it's on par with the Alienware M15, which I say was near the top of the game, right? Maybe the feedback on this one is just maybe a tad bit better. But that's just my opinion, and to each his own, because some people love the MacBook Pro's keyboard because it's just, you barely have to touch the keys before they register. On this, I like to press down, and I'm old school, so it is what it is. Anyway, keyboard is alike overall, even though they fucked the lighting. Like number 2, and y'all know how I feel about crispy screens or buttery smooth screens. This is a buttery smooth screen, right? So I love the 120 hertz. I love the way it just scrolls. When I go to web pages, go to my YouTube and scroll up and down, it's buttery smooth. After being on this computer for a while and I finally jumped back on my Alienware M15 to do some, editing or actually look at YouTube or a movie if I want to watch something on an OLED, or just comparing between the two, night and day. Yes, it's 60 hertz, and you can definitely tell a difference when I'm scrolling on this one and I'm scrolling on that one. But this one just looks so great, and in my book, it's personal choice. I want the crispiness and the brightness a little bit more than the smoothness. But again, this is buttery smooth. When you're playing games, buttery smooth. Looks way better on, or performs way better on this computer in contrast to using the M15 or the Razer Blade OLED, and on par with the GE66. And also, what was the other one I had in here? What was the other one? Oh, the other Alienware with 300 hertz display. Not as smooth, because sometimes, I got an eagle eye, so I can see the difference just a tad bit. But this one, definitely buttery smooth. But again, it's a personal choice. If you're not worried, shout out to those folks who are commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. That was a quick sidebar. But You know, I like the way that they didn't go overboard on this overall with 240 or even 300, right? They kept it cheap because the price is right, and it's at 120 instead of 240 or 300. So it keeps money in your pocket, and you can use that for extended warranty, or you know, buy the external monitor with it if you really want it. Because I saw one of the followers commented that, hey, I bought a 1080p but just bought a 4K display. Me, I got the 4K laptop for when I'm on the road, but if I decide to keep this one, which is a big possibility, and I want to do something in 4K, I'll just hook it up to the LG OLED, right, and get the same thing. And I haven't tested that out yet, so I want to hook this up to the 4K OLED TV, and then hook my Alienware up and then see how they perform, right? Because in this one I have the 2070 Super, no Max Q, and this one I have an RTX 2060 Max Q with the AMD Ryzen chip, and this one has the Core i7. So going back to the subject, 120 hertz, buttery smoothness, a definite like in my book. You won't be disappointed. Like number 3, the Armory Crate. Now I love when these manufacturers include extra shit, right? But this Armory Crate that I have here, in reference, if you don't know what Armory Crate is, put it like this. Alienware has Command Center, MSI has their Control Center, HP has a fake-ass, knockoff-ass Alienware Command Center, and ASUS has Armory Crate, right? This has all your information about your system, right? It has CPU stats, what they call CPU stats, the frequency, the usage, and the temperature, and the voltage. It has GPU stats, same thing, frequency, usage, temperature, and voltage. It has memory storage, how much memory you're currently in storage you're using, your fan speeds, which is different. I've only seen this on the MSI GE66 or just MSI computers in general. I haven't had any of the other ones, so I wouldn't know if they're on the other ones, but I would assume so. The system configuration for the touchpad, the ROG key, the Win key, and you can boot up sound. It has, right now the boot up sounds kind of like a sword, like a swing, but I can change it to whatever I want. Yeah, fake ass sound effects. I should have just added something in there, but I'm lazy as fuck. App configuration, and of course you can have my profile, which I don't like creating logins for any other companies because I have enough accounts everywhere, and it's just some shit that I'm gonna fucking forget. This is the only page that I like out of the entire Armory Crate, right? They do have a phone app thing that you can use to change the system settings from your phone, but why would you do that, right? Why would I want to change my system settings from my phone while I'm away from my computer, right? Gimmick, right? Gimmick, total bullshit. But hey, it's great that they thought of it. I've tried to use it and it worked, but it disconnected more than it kept a connection. But under these tabs, right, you have the system settings, so you can do your GPU power saving here, and then resource monitor, which pretty much shows you your stats. Aura Sync for their lighting, so if you have anything that you buy from them that has Aura Sync to it, they'll show up in this, and you can apply effects. Now this computer has no RGB elements, so that's why you see most of this shit grayed out. Next tab is game visuals, so you can change the color profiles. I like to keep it on vivid because that's what I like. I like shit that jumps off the screen, more like something like Samsung phones. I like pop, not in my face, like I said in my watch video, but I like pop. I like when colors pop, and I like when they're bright. Vivid is probably the best that you're gonna get, and then you can also color calibrate it, and also change the color temperature to your liking. So they give you a lot of elements or tools here to do or adjust your screen to the way you like it. Next, you have your game library. Again, I really don't use this because I use Steam or Ubisoft or EA for my games, or you know, I don't like to have the system look for games. You can create a profile for your settings. So I don't have one that just says profile 1 to start off. And then the last two are just fucking spam, right? They're trying to sell you games. And if you want to buy one of these games, which you can find somewhere else, you have to put in your ASUS account information. Well, no, I don't want to give anybody else any more credit card numbers or anything, or my PayPal account information. So I wouldn't necessarily buy games from here, but basically it's just spam. And then the last one is fucking news, which is spam also. So the only one that I deal with is the the information tab, which lets me adjust my system to Windows, which means all I'm doing is just surfing the web, maybe watching some videos. Silent, to keep the computer, the CPU and GPU usage at a minimum. Noise, a little bit cooling, and almost energy saving, or a little bit of energy saving. Performance, if I want to do something a little bit more intensive. Now the other two are not showing up, turbo and then manual, until I plug it in, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But you have turbo for when I'm playing games, and then you have manual, which, just like the MSI GE66 that I have, you can adjust the fan speeds according to the temperature of the computer. And this thing, again, with this design on the side, right, where the computer lifts up when you open it, and I'll do it again, right, just so you can see, it stays quite cool. It stays quite cool. So I like the way they designed this, and I think this is one of the few computers that, or laptops that they make, that actually has this design. And to me, it's just genius. It's just genius. Does it keep you from putting ports in the back? And that's why they had to put the power port on the side. Yes, it does. And I'll talk about that in a few. But I love the way it's designed, and I love the way it complements the armory crate and everything else. Everything, again, this thing is well built, well thought out, nice size, nice weight, fucked up lighting on the keyboard. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, armory crate is a definite like. Like number 4, and as you can see, I got a lot of likes in this mug, right? The speakers, they're not as loud as the M15, and I would probably put that on the size difference, but they're a tad bit clearer, is that a word? A tad more clear, I don't know, fuck it. And with a little bit of low end, and it's more low end than the M15. So it's not as loud, but it's still clear with some low end, where the M15 has some low end, but not as much. And I would probably give that to the speakers on the bottom, which looks a little bit bigger than the ones that are on each side of the keyboard on the top. So, and you can actually hear the difference when I play the two, which I'm not, because I don't do all that intensive shit. But what I'm gonna do is just play a video just so you can hear how loud. And I'll try to play something that's loud. Let's do some music. How about that? Anyway, they sound good, a little bit low end, just enough for you to get around. Is it gonna replace a Bluetooth speaker? No. Is it gonna replace external monitors? No, it's not. But if you're in a hotel room and this is all you have, it'll do just fine. And you may not be able to hear it, but I can definitely hear it. And then when I touch the computer, I can actually feel a little thump in it. And it's funny because it's trying, but it's not getting there. It's definitely not on par with the MacBook Pro, but everybody knows, whether you like Apple or not, that shit is the best in the business. Those speakers on that computer are the best in the business, right? Everything else is falling underneath. I don't give a shit what you got. I don't give a fuck if you like Apple or not. You gotta love those fucking speakers, and I bet you, if you have a laptop that got some speakers that are shitty, you would wish that you had those. But in this case, again, it's well balanced with some low end, and it fits the bill when I'm on the road and I'm in my hotel room, and I just want to hear some music, but I don't want to hear fucking speakers like on the GE66, which I would not. Oh man, it sound like a bunch of mice screaming. Anyway, speakers are my final like of a long list of likes, because I think I have 4 or 5. And with that, on to my dislikes or unfortunates. Unfortunate number 1, I've said it before, this fucked up keyboard lighting, right? They fucked it. Let's just be real. So it falls in my unfortunates or my dislikes. If you have them in a dark room, they're just fine. If you don't have them in a dark room and they just come on automatically when it's light, or you want to have them on and show the computer off, don't do that, because you're going to embarrass yourself, right? So ASUS, if you're watching, which I know y'all ain't, but again, somebody drop a link in their inbox to let them know. If you're listening, make it into an RGB element, turn it into some RGB elements, or take it completely off and keep the price down. But don't embarrass yourself like that. I'm looking at it right now from this angle, and I can see that this is it's brighter than the top, especially this key right here is extremely dim. I don't know if you can see it. This cut key is extremely dim right now. And I know I have a lot of light coming in, but or a lot of natural light coming in, but it's extremely dim, and I have to actually look at it, or I don't fucking know, turn them off to actually see that that's a scissors with a square, right? So they completely fucked the lighting, and I'm not going to give them a pass for that. It's a great computer overall, and nothing is perfect, but it is what it is. It is what it is. They had to fuck up something, and it's something simple. Let's just be real. And it just happens to be the keyboard lighting. So unfortunate number one. Unfortunate number two, and it's not anything that they actually did, it's what they didn't do. And I mentioned it earlier. What they didn't do is put a camera on this motherfucker. So they just alienated a whole lot of people that work or go to work or work from home that need to be in a Google Meet or Microsoft Teams or whatever, Skype or whatever you use for work, and students, again, when they're going to school, or go to school, or just in general want to chat with your friends. Can you buy an external camera? Yeah, you can. And I know there are going to be some people, oh, it's a great computer, I could just buy a fucking external camera. Yeah, but guess what? That's more money I got to spend. And if I got this thing running on battery and I'm on the road or out and about, now I got something else that's zapping power from my battery life. Yes, the battery life is great, but I wouldn't want to add anything else to it if I need it for an extended period of time, right? So they completely fucked up by not including the camera. I don't give a shit if it's 720p. Right? I don't care how I look at Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or any of the other services that you use. It doesn't have to be super clear. I'm not looking for an HD camera, just a camera, just a camera. So now I got to go buy a $50 or $100, depending on how much, what I'm streaming, camera to add to this that may or may not fit on this thin bezel. So they didn't fuck anything up. They just didn't add it. And is it to cut costs? I would say yes. I would probably say yes, along with the other things that they did, like the keyboard lighting to cut costs. But overall, it's not too bad, but it's bad enough for me to call them out on. So no camera. Nah, that's a no-no. Unfortunate number three. And at this point, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm nitpicking. But hey, I gotta do this for y'all. I gotta do this just in case you get it and say, hey, why didn't DT tell me that fucking they fucked up this or they did this minor detail about that. I'm gonna try to squeeze all of the juice out of this lemon to try to let y'all know what I feel and what you may not like, which may be a deal breaker for you, right? And in this instance, it's the power port placement. It's right smack dead in the middle on the side. I don't like that. I don't like that, especially when there's enough room here. Now, I don't design computers, so I wouldn't know what's in the inside until I open it up and break this thing apart, which I'm not gonna do. But I don't like the cable running from here because it's angled, and I'll plug it in a minute and run down the side, right in front of a port that's blasting out hot air. Now, if I take the, God damn it. All right, we back up. All right, if I take the power cable and plug it in to the side, this shit looks janky as fuck, right? No cable hiding in this place. So if I wanted this thing to look svelte, yeah, I said it, svelte, on a desk to and try to hide the cable so it can look nice and clean on my desk, I can't do that because I have this damn power cable that's angled out the side and making it look tacky, right? It's not braided, it's just a regular ass cable. And again, excuse me, it sits right in front of a vent that blows hot air. And this air could get quite hot depending on what you're playing. So I don't know about you, but I don't think it's a good idea to have hot air blowing on an electrical cable over a long period of time, over another long period of time, days, weeks, months, or even years. So I think at sooner or later, this thing is going to get weak or something and probably malfunction sooner or later. That's just my thing. Could you angle it out and do this? Yeah, you can do that, but it makes it look even more tacky. It's just tacky in general, right? Is it because of the design? Looks great, which looks great. Yeah, I think they prioritize design, and I'll knock that off. They prioritize design over the placement of that power plug, right? They wanted this vent to be even with that vent, and it's fine, right? It's fine with me. I'll get a black desk or something to put it on to hide the cable or tuck it away as best as possible, but that's just my personal preference. You may not, it may not bother you. Like I said, I'm nitpicking, so it bothers me when I'm nitpicking. It is what it is. But power input location, it's nothing that they actively did to this, and it does not decrease the function or affect the function of the computer in general. It's just something that I pulled out and was like, I don't like that. So it's an unfortunate. And my final unfortunate, and again, this is nothing that they did, it's just something that they didn't do, is the no Ethernet port. Now these days, this does have a Wi-Fi AX, which is quite fast, but you have to have AX at the facility or the home that you're in order to take full advantage. Do I have any trouble streaming? Do I have any trouble downloading? No. But if I had something that's big and I wanted to download it fast, I have no option but to get a dongle. And just like the camera, that's something else I gotta drag along with me to zap power out of my computer to use. Again, I'm nitpicking, and this is a thin computer, right? And if I match it up to, and I'll pull this over, is the Alienware is just thicker, just a tad bit thicker. Oh, it looks a lot alike. Just a tad bit thicker, but they still included a expandable Ethernet port. So why couldn't they do the same thing? It's not the best Ethernet port in the world, but it works, and it works well, and it immediately doubles my speed when I want to download something fast because I want to play it now. You know how you get when you get over anxious when you're getting games and you don't have time to allow it to download overnight, so you just like, oh, I forgot to download this thing, and you want to get it, and you want to get it in 15 minutes instead of 30, 45, or an hour, depending on what game it is, because I heard that Call of Duty is a fucking beast, but or at least the new Call of Duty. But as y'all can see how fast that damn fingerprint reader works. But yeah, again, is it to cut the cost? Yes. Could it be space inside the machine because it's so small? Yes. And I can forgive them for that because, again, I love build quality, just like something that Apple prioritizes, is outstanding. And it's just unfortunate that they couldn't add everything along with that. And again, it's completely forgivable. You will not be disappointed with this machine. But Ethernet, no Ethernet port, it's an unfortunate, but not a bad one, just a nitpick. Now my concerns. And to be honest, I'm not really concerned with this machine. I could be of the customer service, but each company and customer has their own experience. While I say Apple has the greatest customer service, somebody else may have had one bad experience and it completely fucks with them for the rest of the time that Apple's still a company, and they will never buy another Apple product again. Same with Dell. Dell has great support, but I can have one bad experience which completely turns me off from them completely. The way this thing is built, I don't have any major concerns. I haven't had one issue with it since I purchased it. No glitches, nothing. And it's crazy because I'm waiting for something to happen because of the cost of this machine, which I'll talk to you in a minute, that I expect something to happen because this is like too good to be true. Right? It's too good to be true. Yeah, I'm on this machine's nuts right now, but it's for a reason. And one of those reasons is the cost. And I'll talk about that in my last segment. But it's very compact. You may be concerned about this white top, but I'm one of the motherfuckers that eat food right here in front of the TV, and I'll have this laptop here testing it out. The other day I was eating spaghetti. Yeah, I'm one of them motherfuckers eating spaghetti and fucking pow, right on the top. And I'm like, oh shit, that's red sauce. Let me get some shit to wipe it off. And I wiped it and it came right off. So if you're worried about the top of this machine getting dirty, at least on this part, don't worry about it. Now on these holes, in general, I've heard some reviewers say shit gets stuck in the holes, but again, I learned my lesson from eating spaghetti here and having a little bit of splatter on this. If it got on this part, I don't know if it would have stayed in the hole or not. There's no outlet, so if you blow inside these or use something to blow inside these, it's going nowhere. right? So if it gets real dirty and you get stuff stuck in there, it's just gonna fucking be in there. Now they do have one that's a lower spec that comes in gray, and then there's a higher spec one that's kind of hard to find, to be honest, that has the lights here. Well, you know, that may be different, but for this white one, which I love the white, obviously I have a white M15 here, it is what it is. You know, I can deal with it and then wipe it clean, and then I have Cheetos on my hand while I'm grabbing the top of this. But overall, no concerns with this computer. None at all. None at all. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So do I recommend this computer? I already said I was on this motherfucker nuts. I absolutely recommend the ASUS Republic of Gamers Zephyrus G14. I think I forgot to say Zephyrus earlier, but you know what I'm talking about. And these days, and as popular as this computer is in the lower spec or lower tier models or mid tier, we just call it the G14. They did a really good job with this machine. Out of scale of 1 to 10, I say a 9. Right? Why is it not a 10? You all, why is it not on a 10, DT? You're all on the nuts. Well, fucked up keyboard lighting, no camera, no Ethernet. So I had to pull something away. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Not even this Alienware M15. Not even the Razer Blade 15. Not even the GE66. Everything is going to have its pluses, and personally, those minuses are something that you're willing to accept. In this case, I'm willing to accept. Do I need 2 laptops? No. But the thing that draws me or drew me into this was, one, the price. Now, I purchased this for, it was regular price $14.49, and today's date is the 28th of October. $14.49. It was on sale for $13.49. I got home, had it here for about a week, looked on Best Buy. This motherfucker right now is on sale for $11.99. And if it's your birthday this month and you get that 10% off coupon, you'll get this thing for less than $1,100. For the performance, the size, the build quality, I can accept the no camera, I can accept the Ethernet, I can accept the fucked up keyboard lighting. I'm buying this machine and I'm keeping it. And for that price, because I got to go back to Best Buy and get the difference, that's $250 we talking about. I might keep this thing and I might play with it a little longer. I might take it on the road with me. I might take it, if I go to sea, I might take it at sea with me. These are all the pluses. It's like having, it's like having something that you can rely on and know that it can fit the bill when it's time. I really like this machine, and it's, oh man. I don't like racking and stacking these, racking and stacking means ranking. I don't like ranking these computers, especially this one, because it's so different than the other ones because of the size and because of the specs of it, especially because this is one with the AMD Ryzen chip, and this is the first one I've reviewed with the AMD Ryzen chip. But man, this is with the price. This could be at the top of my list. This could be over the M15. This could be over the GE66. Definitely over the Razer. Definitely over the HP. I'm talking about it's crushing the HP. It just threw the HP out the window. Definitely. If you're thinking about getting this machine, this is cheaper than every machine that I've had at $11.99. I'm pretty sure around Christmas time it's going to drop to that price again if it goes back up. Be patient, wait, or buy used. Which I don't recommend, but if you want to save even more money, and buy, I think on Best Buy, if somebody returned it, now it's fucking like $9.59. I don't know what you're waiting on. But definitely recommend this machine. There was only one machine that I didn't recommend, and I think we all know what that is. But this one, man, if you're gonna ask me, what would you pick between the G66 and the G14? Oh, the M15 and G14. Razer the G14. You know why? Because of the price. You can save a lot of coin. So if you need that extra performance out of those other laptops, get them. But if you want to save some money, this is the one to get. So that's all I have right now. I'll probably throw a couple gaming clips in here to show you guys the performance. But thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. This is DT 2.0, and I'm out. So here we have Tomb Raider, and as you can see, this is probably one of the most intense as far as lighting, as far as textures, scenes in this game. And as you can see, it's just hitting 66. This is not at ultra settings, but at highest settings. and it's playing just fine, right? It's playing just fine. So I really like the way the performance is, especially on this game, which could be quite intensive, especially when I run the benchmarks. You know, now I'm just running aimlessly, not doing shit, but just showing you guys how the frame rate and then, you know, how it performs, especially while looking around. As you can see up in the sky, we got some birds moving. No problems playing this game, none at all. Especially at high 60 frames per second is great when you're playing games like this where it's just only you, right? And you're playing a campaign from third person, which are the games that I prefer. You know, see I'm fucking up the crops right now, but you know, I love the way this game is it plays on here. And as you can hear, I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. That's your max fan noise right there. It's not bothersome at all, right? And if the scene in the game is loud, you won't even hear them. So if you're worried about fan noise, don't, right? And I want to say it's because of the size of the machine, you won't have that to worry about.
Careful, friend of Honorato. The Jaguar warriors. Don't get too close to them. They are always watching for rebel activity.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, boom. Here's a bright scene. Again, not as crisp as an OLED display, because y'all know how I like about you know what I like about those OLED displays, but at the same time, plays and looks great. So here I am in NBA 2K20, and man, look, I can tell right now, and I'm about to slaughter some motherfuckers. Yeah, let's just do that. I can tell right now that it's super smooth, right? Normally on this game, the game automatically cuts the max frame rate in half when it's showing cutscenes, and then it goes full. Fan noise and sound, right? That's the max volume right there. I'm talking about crispy. You guys might not be able to see it on my recording, and that's because I got a cheap ass camera, but at the same time, it's super smooth and very much playable. This looks better than watching a real game on TV, you know. And this is the 2K20, not even 21, and I'm about to get burned in front of y'all. I sure did. But Durant, book up. Anyway, as you can see, I'm averaging 118. Yeah, it's not as intensive because it's only a basketball game, but if you're a sports player playing this or Madden or anything like that, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, I'm fucking up. Anyway, running at max frame rate, at max settings, everything on here is set at ultra, so you won't have anything to worry about. Love this game. Look at that. You can see the little naps on his head. Anyway, that's a joke. Nobody take offense to that. Anyway, those are the two games that I'm going to test. Hope you like it. If you want me to test some more shit, just let me know. I got a couple other games, and then my son got a bunch of games that I can test, and I'll probably just give this to him and let him run it through his courses. But other than that, hope you enjoyed the video. Peace. And one more thing, so because I know you guys are going to ask about it, so I'm just going to head this off at the pass. Temperatures. How are the temperatures? Well, I didn't play long just now, so it really doesn't matter. But the other day, when I was playing this thing for an extended period of time, the temperatures did get up into the 80s. But again, this system is so efficient that when that air gets drawn up under there, it gets cool rather quick. And when I stop playing the game, it cools off near instantly, right? And I don't know whether that's software that they use to give you something that's fake, but it drops 10, 15 degrees in a couple minutes. No bullshit. So right now, I just got finished playing those two games. It's only at 43, but when I first opened up Armory Crate after playing those games, it was at 76. And then as the fan ramped up, cooled it off, and then the fans went off or went down to only right now they're at 3,500 dBm. And it actually tells you system acoustics, how loud it is. So I don't even need to fucking have a meter here to test the sound, which is, again, this is a plus on the Armory Crates. And I know I didn't say that during the review of that, because during my like of that, but I didn't even see it. And now that I see it, I think it's fucking awesome. So it's just another additional thing that makes you like this machine. So again, like, subscribe if y'all want to. If not, hey, give me your input. Let me know what you think.